You're not making that the intro again. When we talk about Volk, usually the conversation in the comments goes like this. We talk about something that Volk did or has done or explained why they were good, and everybody is in there like, oh my God, we already knew that. Like, Volk is great. Like, I don't know why you keep talking about these guys. Raze is like the best. Except nobody really knows why Volk is so good, and then it's kind of a toss-up because there's a lot of things that we enjoy in life that we really don't understand why. Why is grandmother's mashed potatoes so good? Why are fidget spinners so absolutely addicting? This trend is old and you'll never see me do that again. The conversation talking about Volk doesn't really end just by telling you facts about the business. So instead we decided to talk about why is Volk the iconic aftermarket wheel company. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and check out the links below where we talk to you all about how sweet our website is, because that's the sales plug in a lot of these videos, and let's just get right into it. So the first thing about Volk that makes them so iconic is obviously something we've talked about before, which is the history. It's the pedigree and the quality that Volk makes in terms of their wheels. You guys know this better than probably anybody else. The Volk TE37 is by far probably one of the most iconic wheels of all time, and it is something that every single Nissan GT-R fanboy runs. It's something that everybody wants to run on their S2000. And they have about 10,000 different submodels of different acronyms at the end of 37, which somehow makes some kits worth 4,000 and others worth 7, and I don't really understand the difference, but we'll figure it out when we eventually get to it. But the Volk TE37 and a lot of Volk wheels are the iconic, they're the epitome of what makes a wheel good. In terms of quality, like, you've never heard of somebody having a bad experience with Volk. You just never have, because they just refuse to allow bad experiences to happen. Almost all of their wheels are JWL plus their own Volk testing certified. So all the wheels that they go through go about 20% more structural integrity testing than your standard JWL VIA testing, which is pretty cool when you think about it, because at the end of the day, it costs them more money to go through the test. Not only that, but in terms of actually making the Volk wheels, any of their forged wheels go through some of the toughest integrity testing that there is when it comes to the wheel market. Now, Volk has the only 10,000 ton forging machine that makes their wheels across, well, pretty much anywhere. The next closest is 8,000 tons, and 2,000 tons can make a hell of a lot of difference. Just ask my mom. I probably shouldn't say that because I really do like my mom, and that would be mean. Julie, I'm sorry. I love you. No, Mom, it was a joke. I'm not that mean. She's gonna leave like a sad face in the comments. My mother is a beautiful human being. She's a wonderful lady. She used to have a golden Daewoo. You don't know what a Daewoo is? You've never heard of a Daewoo? How do you not know what Daewoo is? Y'all better know what Daewoo is. Now, another thing that you may hear about Volk is that they're the benchmark when it comes to sport racing technology. And if you really were to dive into a lot of the history and testing that they do, you could probably see that that's the case. Now, the biggest thing with Volk that makes them so iconic, and the reason that they're the best, is with a lot of wheel companies, it usually goes with like person, then to business, in terms of like, we're gonna sell wheels to people because lots of people buy wheels, and companies or racing teams usually only buy a couple wheels, but not with Volk. See, Volk went into the racing scene first, and all of their wheels and all of their testing and all of their R&D and all of that stuff starts and stems from their racing development teams, and all the information that they get from their racing teams is then passed on to the rest of their departments to make wheels for like the normal people like me and like you. So that what they end up doing is, because of all the racing pedigree and heritage, they really don't have to go fake test a lot of their wheels. They actually just like test their wheels, and then they end up, if they work, they pass them on to the consumer. They're like, yeah, you can buy a set of Volk TE37 SLs that are $500. Just drop my mic. We're gonna pick that back up. And Volk makes their wheels in just one very simple formatted way. The number one thing is that it has to have function. The most functional wheel is the only wheel that's ever gonna have the Volk name on top of it. That is why so many people in the culture nowadays love the Volk name, because it's synonymous. That's your word of the day. It's synonymous with just having a quality wheel. And just like everything on the track is slowly making its way into the normal wheel car community that we all know, is eventually people have started to notice that they also want Raze, because that's the wheel that's on the car, that's on the track doing the thing, and it's doing it really well. And people are just like, you know, I want that too. And then like 80% of them get scared away when you see the price, but the other 20% end up running them on their STI or on their S2000 because that's what they want. Second is, after they get through the function, is most importantly like the weight. So with a lot of companies, they always care about, it's like 3 things. You know, when you have like a girlfriend and she can be like super hot, super smart, or crazy, but you can only pick two. Like, that's the wheel game too. With the wheel game, you can have lightweight, you can have affordable, and you can have a cool design, but you can only pick two, it seems like. See, Volk is like all three, or as close as you can get to all three, because after they figure out what works for the track, then they make it as light as they possibly can. In fact, the TE37 is an ode to the 3.7 kilogram wheel that was originally made for the racetrack on the TE lineup. That's why it's called the TE37. So after that, they eventually make all of these wheels that have nothing more than function. Everything is as lightweight as possible. Then after all of that, they're like, yeah, I mean, if you think it's cool, you can run it. And because of the pedigree that Volk has, everybody wants the wheel. It's a 6-spoke wheel. There's nothing inherently crazy about wheel designs like the TE37, except for the fact that because it's a Volk, because it's a race, it is the wheel to have, and it is one of the best wheels that you can buy in terms of like having a quality lightweight wheel. And besides the fact that they, you know, care about how their wheels are tested, or the fact that all their wheels come from the track, the last but not the least, it took me like 4 times to say that, is the fact that all their wheels and everything is manufactured and R&D'd in Japan. It's one place that they do all of this stuff. And if you didn't know, when you keep everything under one house, it keeps everything very, very easily. If you think that you can maintain a business across multiple organizational structures, you can ask Wells Fargo how that worked for them last year. Everything is best when it's under one roof, and Volk knows that. That's why they keep all of their stuff in-house. That's why they produce all of their stuff in-house, and that's why it works so incredibly well. Volk is one of those companies that doesn't need to have the marketing, doesn't need to have the push behind it, because just the fact that they exist is what makes people want to go out and buy their wheel. And they've had such tremendous success both on the track and off the track when it comes to both professional racing drivers and just normal avid autocross enthusiasts that go out on the weekend to enjoy their, well, neighborly parking lot. Everything about the wheel is great. And as long as you don't mind spending a little bit extra money to get that wheel, you'll probably never regret buying a set of Volks or Rays. So that's what makes Volk and Rays so iconic. We hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, if my mother is still watching this, I'm so sorry. I thought it'd be funny. I saw other YouTubers do it, and then I realized I felt bad inside and I got all choked up. You're a wonderful human being. I can't wait to see you next weekend. But I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Peace.